I'm Tessa Smith with MamasGeeky. Thank you so much for taking the time today. I really appreciate it.
Hi, Tessa.
One of my favorite things about this show is all the insane action, right? So can you just talk about how let's take a massive action sequence. How long does that take you to get people ready for?
Well, it's, like for example, I don't know if you've seen any of the episodes for season two, but we got like big one at the end of episode two. When
Mm-hmm.
the other ones, we get a lot of the guys fighting and some new characters fighting. And so for that one, we worked on it about 8 weeks to kind of, work out the choreographies and it probably doesn't show us much on the final edit, but it was a lot of wire work involved for like the final of that scene. And of course, like you start designing the action, you start prepping and doing some bits with the stunt doubles, and then you discuss with the showrunners, with Rave and with the director Thomas, and if they like the action, if that actually suits to the style of the character and everything, and if they're happy, we kind of start building on top of that. And once we kind of have final version or semi-final, we bring the cast in and we start teaching them the fight. And like they learn, and sometimes we need to change moves because they don't like the move or doesn't suit them. So it's a long process. So it does take about 8 weeks to get to the final point where everything is rehearsed and set and ready to go.
Wow. I was gonna ask that. How often does things change? While you're filming, how often are they like, nope, this doesn't work, come up with something new?
Well, it does happen, especially I think on TV shows generally, because the time is very limiting. You kind of know that you always wish, oh, can I have a little bit more time? It's like, no, we need to make sure that we complete the scene. So can you make this a little bit shorter? Or maybe can we adjust the move? Or can we have these guys together to fight rather than have them in different places? Because then we can shoot it at the same time. So you need to be kind of flexible as a stunt coordinator, but also as an actor. You kind of, need to get the flexibility in them during the press and tell them, look, it may changes. No, let's come up with a little version that is shorter or quicker or something like that, and kind of make them comfortable and make them trust you and the stunt team that the advice you give them is gonna work, and they don't have to worry about something going wrong or
Yeah. With some of these pieces, there's so many people in the background. How many stunt people do you think there are any given day? I feel like there's got to be a ton.
Well, sometimes we got about like 150, 200 people in the scene. But of course, you would need sometimes 500,000, but you cannot have all of them on set. So you always adjust all the background action to the camera. So when you look certain way, whoever is not seen in the shot behind the camera, you send them in the front of the camera or the background of the actor. So it looks actually bigger than when you look at it from the outside. It looks like there's more people on the screen than there was actually.
And then how often do actors kind of I don't want to say improvise because I'm sure it's a set thing, but how often are they like, wait, I want to do something different? And then, because you talk about things changing constantly, is it ever the actors who are like, no, listen, I need to do something different?
Sometimes it happens on set, but not as often because like if they start changing the moves, it's gonna start falling apart because it's all having kind of like timing. So they got all the bad guys coming in certain time after certain move, and until then, all the buddies need to find someone else in the background to wait for their turn. So if it changes too much, it's gonna start falling apart. And so when they want to change something, which does happen because, as I say, sometimes the set suddenly from the gym where the floors it's perfect, it's nice and flat. You're somewhere on the hill or some like rubbles, and it's not difficult to stand, so you have to adjust. So they come up something that is comfortable for them rather than pushing them into a move that doesn't look good because they are not comfortable. So yeah, they come up with things that they think that's going to work better for them, and we try to make it work, of course.
Yeah. And then very final question, I just got to know, because you've done yourself as a stunt double, how did that help you kind of lean into stunt coordination?
Oh, it does, because if you experience a lot of things on yourself doing your own stunts, and also like when you stunt double, you are very like close to the actor you double. You kind of need to give him the information when he actually steps in after the stunt, or if he does the stunt himself, but you rehearse the stunt. You kind of need to explain what he needs to do to keep, to be safe and everything else. So it does help because it's kind of the step between only stunting and stunt coordinating, because then you do actually the same thing. You come to the set and you explain the actors, this is gonna happen, and you're safe because of this and this and that, so you've got nothing to worry about, we got your back, and you build the trust, and then I think that helps when you actually do experience all the stunts on yourself, like, you know, in the young years in my career.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time and congratulations on the show. It's great. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really, really enjoyed the first season, but I'd love to know what it was that made you guys be like, yes, I've got to be a part of this second season. I've got to direct some stuff.
I feel like I love the themes of season one. It's such a great show. The characters are really deep. There is an element of being able to see a diverse cast that feels just natural altogether, which was really important to me. I also love the theme of the feminist theme of women in power. Having the one power where, you know, it's a bad thing if the man has some kind of channeling capability. So I think I really felt, you know, akin to that, and just love the kind of worlds that season one was part of it. So of course, it felt natural for me to be part of season two, and was really excited to be able to work in that capacity.
When I got involved with the show, the first thing I did was start reading furiously The Eye of the World, and realized how big it was and got terrified of the scale and size of it all. But you know, echoing what Sanaa says there, I think the total reversal of the power structure is so overdue. It's fascinating. Men do go mad when they get too much power, so it's not too far from the truth. And a world in which all of the main characters and the most important politicians and leaders are women is long overdue. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to bring together a female cast, and to cast, as Sanaa said as well, a diverse, really strong female cast. And I just, as soon as I considered that, I just wanted to be part of it. I just wanted to be part of the experience of making that. So, yeah, echoing a lot of what Sanaa said, though.
Yeah, I mean, the cast is incredible, but the production design too. Like, can you guys talk about the first time you stepped on set? Because watching it is insane. I can't imagine being there.
I think what was really fascinating to me, and I don't know if you experienced this, Thomas, is that a lot of the sets for season two were new. So I was pretty fascinated by the fact that Ondrej, who's our production designer, is just amazing and kind of creating these really big spaces on a set, which is really difficult. And I think, you know, when you see in the first two episodes, and Thomas can speak to that, about the White Tower and kind of that transformation.
Yes, yeah. I mean, yeah, we go a much deeper dive on the White Tower straight away. So we see not just the Amelin seat and the White Tower from their perspective. We see the whole organisation from the perspective of people that are now servants, so the novices. And so that the idea of seeing the world from the bottom up was a fascinating journey, and all the sets were kind of in different places and jigsawed together. So it was that was a beautiful thing to be part of, and trying to kind of work out the journeys. And specifically in series 2 is epic, because the characters are now all thrust into different worlds. So Rand is in Cairn, in the Foregate, in a slum. Petrina and Loyal are in Arad Daman, which we shot in Italy, a lot of it in Italy. So it's this kind of very dry, arid world, which is completely different to everything else that we've seen. And then the characters move in Sanaa's episodes, they move into the desert to farm. And so there's a whole another universe coming, which is, you know, epic as well. So there's real scope and real beauty in that. It's an incredible show to work on.
For season 2, we were able to take everybody not only all over the Czech Republic, as well as part of Italy, but going to Morocco, to the Sahara Desert. So you're able to see so many different worlds that are naturally there. I think that's really important. It is a high fantasy world, and we do have visual effects, but I think we're leaning into kind of organic locations to kind of give it its own flavor and also root it and ground it in a look.
Yeah, rooted, grounded, epic. That's like perfect. I love it. That
Yeah.
perfectly describes it. Well, congratulations, guys, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes,
Tiffany.
watch season 2.
I'd love to know. My first question is like, how closely do you two have to work together to create these looks? Because everyone just looks, I mean, phenomenal from head to toe.
I think it's extremely collaborative, the pair of us together. It's we've never worked together before up until season 2, and so to come together and to find the fact that we are completely in sync on every single character that you see on screen is quite extraordinary. And I love the fact that we collaborate together, and it's been a joy. It's really has been a joy for season 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And I think we do have a connection that we didn't know about beforehand. And there's a lot of characters, there's a lot of things to create, and a lot of worlds to create, but we kind of egg each other on and get each other very excited and enthusiastic. And just when we think we've done something, we'll be like, how about if we try that? Let's push it a bit further. And we both rise to the challenge every time.
I love that. Now, how often do you guys go back to the books for inspiration, like to see the exact wording or descriptions of items or how people look?
Well, at the beginning of the design process, that is the starting point after reading the script. We have like a resident guru, Sarah Nakamura, who's read all the books several times. And we ask her to give us any information about cultures or individual characters that are relevant. And that is really the jumping off point from the costume design side. And then we go on to speaking to Rafe, the showrunner, the directors, the actors, bring in our own source material, reference material, and then mix it all up, and out comes the next costume.
Now, how many costumes are any like handmade? Are they all handmade, or items purchased? Like, how does that work?
No, I mean, it's, the Wheel of Time, everything is a mix of cultures and different periods and places. It needs to feel grounded. It needs to feel like it was made before the Industrial Revolution. And there are no costume houses that hire 100 Shanshan soldiers, so everything is made from scratch pretty much. I have a huge department of incredibly talented people. I've like 120 people in my department, from leather workers to tailors and cutters and seamstresses, a breakdown department, a textiles department, a dyeing department. And it's all of these people coming together and collaborating and bringing ideas to the table that makes it really rich experience.
Oh, I love that. And then on the hair and makeup side, just when a character kind of evolves, just something as subtle as like changing the hair or the makeup a little bit can show that on screen without the actor having to portray that. How do you kind of feel about working that in? Is it difficult to change little things, or?
I love changing little things, and I work a lot with wigs. So I have a big stock of wigs, probably up to like 400. It's a lot, and I love to be able to change the actors, from when they come into my seat, and give them, if they're blonde, I give them dark hair, or vice versa. So for me to be able to do that and to put them 50% of the way into their character is a really joy for me. So being able to have these actors, and then they come to me as well, and collaboratively, they give me the ideas of what they're thinking when it comes to their character, and I have my thoughts as well. So it's a really nice process.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate it. And congratulations on the show.
Thank you very much.
So I'd love to first start out with just what about Wheel of Time made you guys be like, yes, I've got to work on this project?
So actually, I heard about that really 2018 for the first time. And I didn't know the books. I should say I had I read the books once I heard about the project, and I was kind of like exciting about the fact that it's actually very strange, very complicated, and very full world, which is amazing for me. And I really like the whole plot and the whole concept of that world. But actually, yeah, I didn't know the books before I heard about the project. But I read the first one before I read the first script. Yeah.
When I heard the first time about that I'm be working on a Wheel of Time, and it's a fantasy serial, it sounded great because we know that fantasy world, it's a magic world, it's full of great stuff which has to be done practically, which is my world, So I was really looking forward to start on it, and I'm so excited that we finished the season 2 and you got a chance now to see it because it's wonderful work.
Yeah. Is there something that you're really excited to see, for people to see, that you pulled off practically in this season that you can talk about?
Well, there's many things which we are proud of. This is like each battle, whenever it's shot, it involves us as a special effects team. Involves stunts and all that action work, and we know that when we are there, there's going to be explosions, there's going to be fire, there's going to be strong wind and all that. So lovely.
Lots and lots of stuff, lots of pieces, lots of moving pieces to come all together to make something truly incredible. How much of the book did you guys like? Did you go back and look at certain things in the book, make sure you made something pull off exactly as the book would want it to like describe, or how did that work? Did you ever go back to the book for inspiration?
Yeah, actually, we are always lucky once we are reading the scripts and we are getting the first information about the new sets and new locations. That's actually our first step, that we are going back to the books. We are looking for any single description in the books which can help us. Like even like a simple sentence is like just saying the atmosphere or something. And we are putting together researches, like visual researches from around the world, and putting all that together with the text. And after that, we are discussing that with the showrunner as director, saying, okay, we will go this way, we will like follow this path. But actually the research of the book is always the first stuff. And we have a great researcher, and Sanaa is doing a great job, like really looking for even like a single sentence or little chapter, just describing the little bit of that word. And it's really helpful for us. So we are going back to the text always,
Yeah, I think that's why it works so well. I know I haven't read the books personally, but I know a lot of people who have, and they always say, wow, like this feels like as I was reading it, this is what I imagined, and that's what I see. So how does it feel to kind of hear like that's what people are saying about it? That's what people have said a little bit about this trailer, that you've kind of actually created what these people have read.
I mean, this is great. This is exactly what we want to hear, because we always give the most skills and just the biggest effort, that all the scenes are gonna look believable and great, and as it's described it in the book, or for me in the script, because I read just the first book, and then the rest I stuck with the script. This is my Bible.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much, and congratulations on the show. I've got to know, what was it about the Wheel of Time when this all first started that you're like, I got to be part of Wheel of Time, I have to be involved?
Well, yeah, I've been on since the beginning. So,
right, yeah.
I read Rafe's treatment. I'd never done fantasy series before in my producing career. So it was, it was a wonderful story about people, what I read. And then you throw this epic adventure into it and creating a world that, I've not seen before. And obviously I read the season 1, I read the first 2 books, and I was thinking, wow. So yeah, and now there are 14 books, so I haven't quite got there yet, but I'm getting.
And then how about for you? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, same for me. I mean, started with season 2, but when I was approached, yeah, to talk to Rafe and Marigo about the season 1 was quite exciting, and then I saw the first episodes, and it's like, wow, I have to be part of it, because to create the world on season 2, yeah, it was a must be. I have to be part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing I love so much about this is like, I have yet to read the books, but everyone I know who's read the books is like, this feels like what I imagined when I read the books. And then these set pieces are massive. And like, can you just kind of talk about like being in that world? Like if you're on set and you're like, oh my God, this is insane.
I mean,
yeah.
every time when you come to set, it's like, wow, what did we build here? It's amazing. And at the end, it starts with the prep. When you read the scripts, or even when you discuss the season in advance and prep, or during prep, it's like, oh, what do we want to create, and what do we want to build? What do we have to build? And it's fantasy, so you have to build quite a lot, because it does not exist. Those locations, or you have to think about which locations we actually want to go. What do we want to see? And the world of Wheel of Time, it's so big. If you look at the map, which Robert Jordan created, it's like, wow, there's deserts, there's mountains, there are other places, and
influenced by so many cultures as well.
Influenced by so many cultures as well. So it's a challenge, but it's fun, actually. It's so much fun to create this.
And for our cast, actually, I think it helps that, I mean, just costumes as well, but for the cast, when they walk onto some of our sets for the first time and they're like, whoa, you know, you can feel it helps their performances, because they're automatically immersed in the world.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, watching it is insane. I can't imagine like literally being there. But like, how often do you guys go back to the books at all? Do you ever like go back and be like, okay, well, this happened in the books, like we need to kind of edit this to be this way, or you kind of let?
I mean, we follow the books, and actually that's more the writers to say, but of course, they are book experts. We have a book expert as well, so she gives us advice. No, it's quite a lot, and even if we talk about costumes or makeup or locations, we always go back to the books and see, well, how was it in the books, or how was it described in the books?
So our book expert, Sarah Nakamura, you know, every single department will say to her, you know, and she'll literally say book 5, page 30, you know, and she'll find the material that we need without slavishly following it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We have to do our own interpretation of it, as costume and production design will tell you shortly, I'm sure. That,
Yes.
you know, it's a team effort.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
only
it.
works
Awesome.
it only works as team effort.
Yeah.
So we are a family. We are
Oh.
family. So it takes so much time to shoot one season and to finish one season, even in post-production.
Yeah.
Because that's what people forget. It's not just shooting. There's another many months
The
after
visual effects,
visual effects and
Yeah.
editing.
Yeah.
So it's team effort and a big family.
Awesome. Well, I love that. Thank you guys so much, and congratulations on the show.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you so much.